Here's your Storm Track 7 forecast.
Good evening, Eastern Iowa. I'm Storm Track 7 meteorologist Danny Cassidy. After a little bit of an active day today, although most of the storm states south and west will have a couple more chances of severe weather as early as tonight. The second chance also comes late Wednesday evening into early Thursday. I think that'll be the best chance of widespread severe weather. The second part of the Storm Track 7 yellow alert day will be for dangerous heat and humidity, specifically during the afternoon and evening for tomorrow. Now, one thing to note with this is if we see storm activity during the morning hours on Wednesday, those clouds might linger and actually help us cool down a couple of degrees, kind of like it did for today for much of eastern Iowa. Let's talk about that severe risk first, though. So much of the area under a level 2 risk for severe weather, with our far southern and western areas are close to that level 3 risk, including Keokuk County and a sliver of Washington County. This area in particular, as you might expect, will have the highest chance of seeing severe weather, but depending on where the stationary front, kind of a warm front, how far it moves northeast, along that front is where we'll see the best chance of storms to fire off. For any severe weather that does happen, the biggest threat will be damaging wind gusts, potentially over 75 miles per hour. Large hail could be a threat as well, and while tornado chance isn't super high, it's not zero, and we'll have to keep an eye on that. And really, this will be mostly after midnight tonight, but really anytime now between early Wednesday morning. So let's show you that here on Future Track. Again, computer models here has taken a tough time picking this up because there's no real massive frontal boundary lifting up those storms or lifting up the air needed to create storms. So this is something where we'll have to kind of keep an eye on as it updates through the overnight hours. But here's where we stand right now. So we're dry for now, and we'll see a little bit of development, again, mostly kind of near the Ames and Des Moines area, and we'll see it track south and east. Again, depending on how far north and east the front moves, we'll see how far north and east it stretches. But generally speaking, again, the farther south and west you live, the higher chance you have of seeing those storms. So Wednesday morning commute, especially south of I-80, could be a wet one for folks. And then after some trailing showers and storms, the afternoon, we'll have a little bit of quiet activity, and this will allow the atmosphere to kind of regenerate and refuel for more storms into the afternoon. And we could see very strong and possibly severe storms then. Overall tonight, low temperatures in the upper 60s and low 70s. Again, some of those storms could be strong and severe, and we're staying muggy through the overnight hours. After those storms during the morning, we'll have a dry period, and temperatures will be allowed to heat up into the upper 80s and low 90s. And specifically for these areas right here, if storms linger, it'll probably be more the mid to upper 80s. But nonetheless, no matter how hot it is going to be very muggy, and dew points could be as high as 80 degrees. With that, we could see peak heat indices as high as 105 at times, but generally speaking about 95 to 105. Then it drops off a little bit, but still pretty hot in the low to mid 90s through the weekend. And the reason being is we'll have a lot of moisture the next few days. And you notice this drop off, again, that is because of a cold front moving through the area. And this is where we'll have a little bit more confidence heading into the day tomorrow of when the severe weather will strike and what the risks are, because that front is a little bit more concrete. We know it's coming. So for tomorrow evening around 6 p.m., as early as 6 p.m. through 2 a.m., roughly right now it looks like after sunset will be the best chance, but we'll see how quickly the front moves through. A level 3 risk off to our west, and the majority of the area under a level 2 risk. Again, depending on how fast the front moves, this might fluctuate a little bit. But like tonight, the main risk Wednesday evening will be for damaging wind gusts. Hail chance, I think, is low because the line's going to move, or I should say form off to our west and then move eastward and become more organized. We still could see maybe quarter-size hail, but I think the large hail threat will be lower. And as I mentioned earlier, tornado chance with this, it's not zero, but it's on the lower end for tornadoes. So let's pick things back up here. Here's Wednesday at 1 p.m., We'll have some sunshine that'll kind of heat up the atmosphere a little bit. Now here's 8 o'clock. Sunset's roughly 8:30, so the reason why that level 3 risk is out there is you'll still be able to use some of the daytime heating. However, with that being said, we'll have enough energy left over, I think, from the day to still see storms fueled to a severe potential. And here's midnight, and you can see very heavy rain along this line. You can see that kind of straight line, maybe a little bit of bowing in there. That's indicative of maybe some gusty winds as well. That'll move through after 2 a.m. and behind it could see some scattered showers and storms into the day on Thursday. But Thursday, we're not expecting severe weather. Now, in terms of those dew points, they are going to be on the decline, but still very muggy. Tomorrow, as I mentioned, maybe as high as 80 for dew points, just basically unbearable in some spots. After the cold front moves through, well, it's not really doing its job as a cold front. It's more of a cool front, so to speak. And no, I'm not talking like, someone you want to meet, because it's not doing its job. We're still going to be in the low to mid 70s for dew points, at least through the weekend. So yeah, it's typical in eastern Iowa. We're on the muggy side, but really we were hoping for more relief. We're not going to get that, at least not yet. So your city-by-city forecast for Waterloo, Dubuque, Cedar Rapids, and Iowa City. Friday, we're finally dry, a little bit quieter. Still going to be muggy, though, through the weekend, and it will be hot for Irish Fest, as it always is. Upper 80s and possibly to 90 degrees there on Saturday. Then heading into next week, we'll see maybe a few isolated storm chances Monday through Wednesday. But notice after Wednesday, those highs drop off a little bit. And of course, it is about a week out. But if that holds, we'll have a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more quiet conditions for the end of next week.